Welcome to the semi-scripted, semi-off-the-cuff ramblings of a morbidly obese cartoon addict. Now, don't expect any structure or, like, cohesiveness to this video at all. I'm not very good at that in the first place, but I really just, the main intent of this video is just to get my thoughts out there, because I feel it's gonna linger if I don't do the video on it. Now, I finished Steven Universe, and I love the show. In fact, top 5 cartoons. I don't want this video to create the impression that I hate Steven Universe. I can't stand it. Where's my little Steven goes? He's a prop for this. I hate you. This is terrible. I hate this show. Oh, no, I don't want to create that impression at all. Because I do love the show, and I also have heard that the fan base can be quite finicky with criticisms of the show. I'm hoping that my lovely commenters that I've seen so far are cooler than that. Disagree with me if you want, and we can even have a fluid discussion, but please don't be the sort of fan that, well, you just enjoyed it the wrong way. Please don't be that guy. Present your thoughts, I'll present my thoughts, and we can be like, oh, that's cool. Maybe I'll even agree with you at the end of the conversation. I'm just hoping not to get the kind of fans who's gonna send me hate mail. I mean, I guess I could just not do the video. This is my own fault. Don't get me wrong. Just don't be a dick. I won't be a dick. You don't be a dick. We cool. Oh no, I'm getting myself into some shit, aren't I? Oh, so I do love the show, and if you've been watching my reactions, you might get the impression that I have literally no problems with it whatsoever, and that's it really comes down to the way I view entertainment, especially Steven Universe right now, because I watched it over like a 4 or 5 week stretch. I didn't really have time to digest things properly like I've had now. And especially on the rewatch. I'm rewatching it right now, and there's some things that are bugging me more the second time around. Because I'm thinking about it more. I'm actively, like, trying to parse out how I feel about things. Yeah, and it also comes down to how I view entertainment in general. I watch bad movies for fun, so, like, even things that I genuinely don't like, I find enjoyment in, and not even just ironic enjoyment, like, that's terrible. Like, I try and find the best in things. I don't always succeed, but I try. So yeah, my enjoyment of something is not always indicative of quality. So something that's irritating me on the rewatch, you might have seen me, like enjoy it during the reaction, and you're like, hey, he liked that, what's he talking about? I'm not bullshitting you. It's just, I'm strange, I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong. It's just how it is. Before I get to the video proper, which I know I've been running for, what, a couple minutes now? Yeah, 3 minutes now, and I haven't started even talking about anything actually relevant to the list. I'm gonna tell you that the overarching thread of this video is character was underused, or they had off-screen character development. And if you hear me say that and you're like, I've seen this video before, cheerio off then, that is the correct response. It's probably not going to be that different from any criticisms you've seen before, because I have, like, you know, perused the general fan community's feelings on the show, just to try and, you know, figure out if I'm crazy, and that's how I know the next thing. There's 2 things that are not appearing on this list that you might be expecting. They're not big, well, one of them's a big thing, one of them's a small thing. In case you're expecting it, one thing on the list that's not on the list is Sadie Killer. I might be the only person who watched Steven Universe who liked Sadie's singing voice. In fact, I think it's the best singing voice on the show, and if I'm the crazy one for that, have at me. I'll accept the hate comments for that one. That's fine. But if you agree with me, comment down below, because I need allies. That's a Facebook thing. I'm gonna silence my phone. I'm gonna try to. Dang it. Oh, comment down below, because I need those allies. The other thing not appearing on this list is anything to do with Rose Quartz, Pink Diamond, whatever. I love her character. Love it. No issues whatsoever. I actually can't stand her. Like, she's a bit of a selfish, terrible in some ways person who did grow, and it's interesting how they revealed her growth and character development. But, yeah, no issues with anything to do with Pink Diamond. And if you're wondering, since this video is coming out way before the reaction to any of that stuff happens, I did not successfully predict the Rose Quartz's Pink Diamond revelation. I did get glaringly, startlingly close, though. In fact, that actually is worth considering, is how she has so many powers, because that was sort of the epiphany moment. It's like, Rose Diamond is abnormally dangerous compared to other gems, it seems, because we know how tough Steven is. Steven just, like, pull out shield and boom, Lapis's constructs all just disappear, poof. Why is he that powerful? He ran face first into the truth and sidestepped at the last second. These are my problems with Steven Universe. Countdown edition, because why not? Number 6.
The City of
Beach City.
I put Beach City at the bottom of this list, and it's not really a proper countdown where each individual list down angers me more, but it's at the bottom of the list, or the top. It's a countdown, so it's at the top of the list. Because I actually like the Beach City citizens, pretty much all of them for the most part, especially the ever-lovable Mayor Dewey. I think he's a perfect character. I wish he had more to do, honestly. However, it's occurred to me, if you removed every human character, with the exception of the obvious 2.5 characters who are standouts, literally nothing about the main plot of the show would change. Like, at all. Lars is that half exception, because he's involved in 2 important moments in Season 5 that drastically affected the main plot. But, like, I don't really think those 2 moments are enough to say that his entire character arc was a main focus for the plot of the story. This wouldn't be so bad if characters hadn't been set up to be larger in the story than they were. I can only think what happened to Petey. Petey was introduced as, I believe, the only male friend of Steven's that is his age. And his first episode was interesting, and then he spent the rest of the show being an unrealistically hardworking fry cook, SpongeBob style, and which, don't get me wrong, I liked the characterization, but they gave him literally nothing else to do. He flanderized himself after, like, his second appearance, and actually, if any citizen of Beach City genuinely irritates me for how they handled their character, it's Petey, because he could have been a lot bigger of a character with no issue. It was a big shame. Even Nanafwa, she was meaningless even after she became mayor, because despite a super ominous speech for the Crystal Gems that she gave in Dewey Wins, where she becomes the mayor, literally nothing that matters changes. Sure, the Beach City has a better evacuation plan now, but like, yeah, that's whoop-de-doo. It didn't even help with anything to do with the initial problem that sparked her campaigns, which was the aquamarine kidnappings. You can't evacuate people to solve a mysterious kidnapper problem. It was literally, there was no difference. Oh god, that plot thread irritates me so much, actually, because it's like, I was expecting big changes to come from that, like on the town front, so that their arcs would begin to matter more, and we just didn't get that. This might actually be the entry that makes me the most angry on this list, but I've placed it so low because, like I said, none of it matters at all, and that's kind of a detriment. Number 5! Steven's point of view. Now, this might be the entry of the list that gets the most flack, and I'm interested in your opinions, actually. Apparently, there was a rule that all things in Steven Universe had to be from Steven's point of view, and that's why we so rarely see anything that he didn't see. This would be fine in a story that's, like, structured for it, but Number 4, the off-screen character development. It's just, like, not structured for it. Steven either never asks realistic questions, or we get characters who go through spontaneous developments off-screen. Even if it would make sense for Steven to be present for these developments, like as his own character would be. Cough, Lars and Lapis, cough, I don't know. Seriously, the fan base seems to praise this as a method to limit the scope of the story, so they had to be more creative with how they reveal information to the viewer. Which it totally would be if they did it right, but in reality it's their secret friggin' weapon to have whatever they want happen and just say it all happened off screen. I'm not even asking for main plot stuff. Fine, leave that for Steven. But would Steven Universe really have been ruined with a Lapis-centric episode? Like, really? 5 of them, in fact. I want 5, 10, 20 episodes of Lapis Lazuli. Is that so much to ask? Like, can we just replace all the Ronaldo episodes with Lapis episodes? Would that have been so horrible? Maybe throw in a couple Onion episodes, give those to Bismuth. Look, I'm sure some of you like how they did this, and that's fine, but I really do think the show suffered for it in part. Number 3. There are 170 plus episodes in the Steven Universe franchise, and we only got to see Fusion 50-odd times, being generous since many of those fusions were the same fusion in the same episode, or it was just garnet again. I am goddamn Fusionator, and I got gypped. Actually, wait, I want to address this. Apparently there's some debate among the fan base, and even inconsistency among Crewniverse itself, over the status of Fusion as a problematically sexually intimate thing. My opinion? Fusion is just Fusion, and it's only creepy if you choose to read into it that way. That's just the way I look at it. Number 2. Bismuth, Lapis, Peridot, and Connie. I found actual footage of Peridot and Lapis waiting to be called into the main story.
Any second now. Any second. Should be right about now!
I don't hear anything.
Shut up, I can't hear!
It honestly feels like the writers of Steven Universe put Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl, and Steven! Sorry, force of habit. Put them in a box and said, these are the main characters. No one else can ever go inside this box. This is the main character box and it's very full. We can't have any more. Seriously, they introduce and develop Lapis, and then stick her in space, and then stick her in the ocean, and then stick her in a barn. They introduce and develop Peridot, and then stick her in a barn. They introduce and develop Bismuth, and then stick her in a bubble. That last one's more justified, but she should have been brought back into the show way earlier than she was, like right near the end of the entire series. It was very disappointing. I completely support calling this phenomenon in future shows that do similar things Barn Syndrome, just because it sounds awesome. And apparently it's based on a real thing. These characters, who are interesting enough to be integrated into the main cast, are sequestered off from everything and completely underused. Connie is a little different. She appears way more and is utilized well enough. It just feels like her development has to do with her direct relationship with Steven a little too much. Either their fusion or Steven's feelings towards her, rather than her own feelings or relationship with her parents, or just developing her more in general. I feel like this point is the only one that I might improve upon my own thinking on my several rewatches of the show. I haven't really settled on how I feel about how they used Connie, but I have general lingering is. Another one. I'm very curious about you guys' opinion on that one. I'm curious about your opinion on all this stuff, actually. Number 1. The Redemption of White Diamond. Now here's the one that I might get just general agreement on. I'm hoping, please. Steven Universe has a pacing problem overall. It really doesn't bother me enough to create its own entry or anything like that, just because if so long as you have fun, is the pacing really an issue? But it is worth bringing up. It took 3 seasons to get what might have been half a season's worth of plot development in pretty much any other show. And by season 5, somehow everything felt, like, rushed all of a sudden. I guess this wasn't helped by the fact that all episodes should probably have been 22 minutes. It's, actually quite sad, because it seemed like they wanted to tell a bigger story, and they just couldn't because of their time slot, which is a big shame, but I think they didn't adapt to it as well as they could have. Nowhere is this problem more evident to me than the redemption of White Diamond. Space Hitler goes from being a dictatorial despot to one of Steven's closest allies faster than this video's runtime. And after her change, all moments of her previous personality are just gone. There is also a similar problem with Peridot's redemption, relating to her basically just becoming comic relief after her redemption, but small Peridot's wacky antics are precious as all hell, and I give less of a shit because of that. White Diamond change is too big, too unbelievable, and it's kind of horrible that she doesn't really face any consequences for her actions. I kind of hope she's faking it and turns... faking it, and the whole turn good thing is just an act, because that would make a little more sense to me, honestly. It's probably not an act, because Steven Universe is over, but after credits, White Diamond's like, I should have returned, that's what I need, because that would make way more sense. If you're upset about how non-cohesive this video was, I did warn you at the top. My game plan is to do positive videos, in the semi-near, not entirely near, I don't know when I'm gonna film these, future. I want to do top 10 characters and top 10 songs, cause, like, I do like this show, it's just, like, I feel like if I didn't do this video, I'd always be, I would regret not doing it, in a way that I didn't want to happen. Also, this was a top 6 or 7, whatever, however many numbers there were, because that's how many I thought of, I've pretty much covered all my problems with Steven Universe. They're big problems. The show, sadly, didn't... I think the first season set up a lot perfectly. I know there's a lot of that town stuff that I didn't like, that kind of retroactively hurt season 1. You know, in a way that if they'd ended up being more important wouldn't be a problem, but I feel like season 1 in many ways is the high point of the show. Which is which sounds terrible, like I'm saying Steven Universe sucks after season 1. No, it's actually, there are many of the higher moments in later seasons, but I just think the way they set up everything was fantastic, and it was a bit of a spiral after that, and a bad spiral, but it's worth bringing up. I'm rambling. Tell me your thoughts, dear viewers. I will say that at the time this video comes out, I believe the episode... Actually, I can just check real quick. What am I talking about? I think. Whatever. I'm gonna look. I know, I'm not even gonna cut this waiting part. I want to leave you in suspense. Like, other parts of this video will be edited, like, you know, to edit in intersplice clips. I'm not really gonna cut down on my rambling, because, like, if you're at the wrong channel if you don't like rambling. But yeah, I want to keep you in suspense. Oh dear. I believe the day this releases will be the day you see my reaction to. No episode of Steven Universe. There it is. The episode of Steven Universe where Mara Dewey commissions a play to be made by Jamie. I don't think I've rewatched that one yet. That'll be fun. So, yeah. This might be a bit of a culture shock for some of you, especially if you didn't see my previous video where I informed everyone that I was done with Steven Universe and I was like looking for suggestions. If you didn't see that video, you're like, wow, he hates the show already? He's only on episode 66. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, I need to, like, stop filming at some point because the video's done. I have nothing else to talk about. It's just like, I'm still here though. Oh, I got a negative test result for COVID-19. Not dying. We have that going for me. Been quite sick recently, so I was worried. But, all good. I don't know what to do. I could just turn off the video and stop recording. And I'm sure some of you are, like, still watching this expecting some great thing to happen. I don't know why you're thinking that, but that's internet. I'm not even looking at the camera, I'm looking at my face. Hello, me. How you doing? I need to stop recording. I really need to stop. But I'm not going to. I don't know for how long. Probably not that long, but like long enough that it's uncomfortable. And just like,